Ever find yourself looking at a skyscraper or even a bridge and thinking, how does that thing even stand up to all that rust and those elements year after year?
Right.
Or maybe, you hop on a plane and think, this thing's older than I am. This thing better not fall apart in the air.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going behind the scenes to uncover the work of the people who make sure that doesn't happen. Surface treatment operators.
Yeah. It's a field, most people don't think twice about, but it's crucial to keeping, our world running.
Exactly. And lucky for us, RoleCatcher has put together a pretty comprehensive guide on this very role.
Hmm.
So whether you're considering a career as a surface treatment operator, or maybe you're prepping for an interview, or even if you're just insanely curious like me, buckle up.
Yeah. I'm excited to kind of dive in. It's not just about understanding the job, but also like how to actually land a role in this kind of niche field, which is where I think RoleCatcher's AI features come in handy, which we'll get to that a little bit later.
Definitely. But first, let's paint a picture of what these surface treatment operators actually do, because the guide makes it clear. It's way more than just slapping on a coat of paint.
Right, exactly. Imagine like the Golden Gate Bridge for a second.
Okay.
Think about all the wind, the rain, the salt spray it's like exposed to constantly.
Oh, yeah.
A surface treatment operator is applying these specialized coatings that, they're like armor against that kind of like relentless assault,
Yeah.
miscalculations, or like sloppy work. That could be disastrous, not to mention expensive.
Talk about pressure. So you're saying these operators, they need serious math skills, not just a steady hand with a paintbrush.
Absolutely. They're calculating, volumes, concentrations, coverage rates. It's precision work.
Wow.
And that's just one example. Think about, airplanes. Those aluminum bodies, they need constant protection from corrosion. And it takes a special kind of expertise to get it right.
It's like a hidden world of like precision and problem solving that most people never even realize exists.
Exactly. And speaking of hidden worlds, let's talk about the typical work environment.
Okay.
Construction sites, factories, shipyards, you name it.
So not exactly your typical office job.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher doesn't sugarcoat it. It can be physically demanding, sometimes hazardous with, exposure to chemicals and potentially like extreme temperatures.
Yeah.
It's hands-on work.
Yeah.
Which can be rewarding for the right person, but it's not for everyone.
That makes sense. Would you say this is a career path for someone who thrives on variety and a bit of unpredictability?
Absolutely. Every project is different. Every surface presents its own challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're often like working on location, things can change on a dime. You need to be adaptable and able to think on your feet.
Right. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not a desk job. And speaking of needing to be adaptable, let's talk about the skills and the career progression that are outlined in this RoleCatcher guide. You mentioned problem solving, which makes me think that, this isn't a career where you just learn a few things and coast.
Yeah, no, you're right on the money. RoleCatcher really emphasizes that continuous learning in this field.
Okay.
Like take zinc-rich primers, for example. They're a much safer alternative to like the traditional chromate-based primers, which were, loaded with harmful chemicals.
Oh, wow.
As the industry develops these, eco-friendlier options, surface treatment operators need to stay updated.
So it's like you're not just mastering these like technical skills, but you're also becoming a bit of a chemistry buff along the way.
Exactly. You're learning about different materials, different coatings, and how they interact with the environment. And as technology kind of evolves, you need to evolve with it,
Yeah.
which actually ties into the career advancement side of things.
Okay, let's talk career trajectory.
Yeah.
So like, what does moving up that ladder look like in this line of work?
Well, according to the guide, you could, climb the ranks to a supervisory role, maybe managing a team of operators. That often involves more project management and making sure those safety protocols are being followed.
That makes sense. You're basically responsible for making sure that those skyscrapers and bridges stay rust-free and structurally sound.
Yeah.
Huge responsibility.
Exactly. Or let's say you develop a real knack for a specific type of surface treatment.
Okay.
The guide uses the example of pipeline corrosion, which is a huge area of focus in the energy sector.
Right.
You could become a specialist in that area working on like major infrastructure projects.
Okay. So you've piqued my curiosity, I'm not even gonna lie. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, earning potential. The guide mentions it's good, but is high earning potential really a thing in this field?
Well, while the guide doesn't get into, specific salary numbers or anything, it definitely emphasizes high earning potential as a major pro, especially as you gain experience and specialize.
Hmm.
And think about it, this is specialized work
Mhm.
that is absolutely crucial to so many industries.
Right.
You're providing a valuable service. And the pay often reflects that.
That makes sense. It's all about supply and demand, right? There's a real need for these like skilled surface treatment operators.
Exactly. And when you factor in the potential for overtime, particularly on like large scale projects,
Yeah.
the earning potential can be even greater.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, this is all sounding pretty tempting.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears a bit and talk about how RoleCatcher can actually help you land one of these jobs.
Okay.
They really go beyond just, describing the role, don't they?
That's what's so fascinating about this guide,
Mm.
honestly. It's not just informational, it's practical.
Hey.
They actually leverage AI
Yeah.
to help you stand out in the job market.
Right. They have that cool AI-powered resume builder, which I've heard good things about.
Exactly. You just upload your existing resume
Yeah.
and the AI analyzes it.
Yeah.
It compares it to like actual job descriptions for surface treatment operator roles.
Oh, wow.
It helps you highlight your most relevant skills and, tailors your resume to the specific keywords that employers are looking for.
That's so smart. It's like having a personal marketing team, like working on your resume.
Right. And they even go a step further with like interview prep.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to circle back to that. The guide includes sample interview questions, which is always helpful. But then they have that whole like AI feedback system.
Which is genius.
Yeah.
Think about it. Most of us like dread job interviews.
Oh, tell me about it.
But with RoleCatcher, you can practice your answers to common interview questions, and the AI will analyze your response. It'll provide feedback on your clarity, conciseness, and even your tone of voice.
Right, really, it analyzes your tone of voice.
Yes. It can tell if you sound confident and enthusiastic, which is, crucial in an interview.
It's true. They can analyze it, but, there's one thing they can't do for you.
Right. They can't actually do the work.
Exactly. You're the one who's going to be out there on that construction site, in the factory, at the shipyard, putting in the hours and making sure that those surfaces are protected no matter what.
Yeah, it's that human element that's irreplaceable. Like, the guide talks about problem solving. And that's a skill that goes way beyond just like knowing which coding to use. What happens when you encounter a problem out there in the field?
Right.
Maybe the weather conditions aren't cooperating, or you're dealing with like a particularly challenging surface.
Right. It's not always going to be like by the book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where the experience and the quick thinking really come into play.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of the satisfaction of this job really comes in, knowing that you're using your skills and your expertise to kind of like overcome those challenges and still deliver like a quality result.
It's a good feeling.
It is. And, it's funny when you think about the bigger picture here, surface treatment operators are kind of like the unsung heroes in a way.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it, they're extending the lifespan of our infrastructure, our buildings, our vehicles.
Yeah.
They're preventing catastrophic damage, and they're playing like a really crucial role in making our world a safer place.
It's so true. I never thought about it quite like that before, but you are absolutely right.
Yeah.
And it's only going to become more important, I would think, as we move towards a more sustainable future, right?
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting, I think. Remember those zinc-rich primers we talked about?
Yeah.
They're just one example of like the incredible innovations that are happening in this field of like eco-friendly coatings.
So the next generation of surface treatment operators, they won't just be like protecting surfaces, they'll be protecting the planet.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. And who knows what other breakthroughs are on the horizon. Imagine, developing a new type of coating that's even more durable, more sustainable, and even more resistant to the elements. The possibilities are honestly endless.
This whole deep dive has been full of aha moments. I feel like we only scratched the surface of what it really means to be a surface treatment operator.
And that's the beauty of it. It's a field that's constantly evolving, always presenting those new challenges and opportunities for growth.
So to wrap things up, if you're listening to this right now and you're even the least bit intrigued by the idea of a career that is hands-on, that's rewarding, and honestly crucial to our world, then maybe, just maybe, being a surface treatment operator is the path for you.
And if you're ready to take that next step, you know where to go, RoleCatcher. It's an incredible resource to, help you get there.
Couldn't agree more. They've really got everything covered, from understanding the ins and outs of the job to acing that interview and then launching your career. It's been a fascinating deep dive for sure.